چشمانداز تغییر در ایران در سال 2013. پارلمان انگلستان 29 نوامبر 2012 9 آذر 91.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished representatives, dear friends, on behalf of the Iranian people, the resistance and combatants of freedom in Camp Liberty and Ashraf, I extend my greetings and wish your conference every success. I also thank the British Parliamentary Committee for Iran Freedom for holding this conference. And I would also express my gratitude to the UK Law Society and Bar Council and all the lawyers and jurists who have supported the Iranian resistance in its legal battle. Honorable friends, the world listened to our long-standing call and introduced sanctions against the regime. Unfortunately, Western policy towards the Iranian regime is still based on appeasement. To avert their overthrow, the mullahs have declared war on the Iranian people and the international community. They are working hard to build the atomic bomb, to provide extensive support to Assad's dictatorship, and to step up repression inside Iran. In action, continuing to engage in fruitless dialogue or simply taking public stance against this regime is the extension of the failed policies of the past. The right solution is regime change, which the Iranian people urgently demand. I would like to draw your attention explicitly to the catastrophic situation of human rights in Iran. In order to survive, the mullahs have resorted to torture and execution on a daily basis. They have increased executions in Iran from 550 in 2010 to 670 in 2011. So far this year, they have executed hundreds more. A significant number of those executed are angry young protesters. There are dissidents among them as well. But the mullahs executed everyone under the pretext of committing murder or being drug traffickers. The primary tool for the mullahs to intimidate the public is torture and systematic rape in prison. Dying under torture in prison has become routine. The most recent victim was Sattar Beheshti, a courageous worker. His only crime was to write blogs critical of the mullah's dictatorship. Under international pressure, the mullahs were forced to accept partial responsibility for killing this young man. The mullahs have at least 60 repressive institutions in the country, including several types of anti-riot agencies, several sections for torture, and at least 12 others for filtering websites and controlling emails. The formation of the Center for Human Rights in defense of political prisoners in Iran is a valuable initiative to defend human rights in Iran. I commend Lord Clark and British Parliamentary Committee for Iran Freedom for initiating this center. If the Western governments had condemned the mullahs for their major crimes, such as the massacre of 30,000 political prisoners in 1988, they would not have been so emboldened. This is the name of 20,000 of martyrs in Iran. But unfortunately, Western governments are either passive or have failed to take appropriate action to deal with this urgent situation. Regarding Camps Ashraf and Liberty, in line with appeasing the mullah's regime, Western governments have either become partners in the crackdown on the combatants of freedom or are simply onlookers to this suppression. By taking advantage of this disgraceful position, the mullah's regime resorted to the massacre of the residents and enforced an inhuman siege. The heart of the problem is that the West has ignored the main solution to the Iranian problem. The answer to this regime are the Iranian people and the resistance, but they have deliberately ignored it. This is the cause of all mistake. Therefore, on behalf of the Iranian people's resistance, I call on the world community, above all the United States and the United Kingdom, to first, hold the regime accountable for its gross violation of human rights, torture, and systematic rape of prisoners. Second, make economic ties with this regime conditional on a complete halt to executions. Third, refer the Iranian regime's human rights dossier to the UN Security Council and put regime's leading officials, particularly Khamenei, on trial for committing crime against humanity. Fourth, decisively disarm the mullah's regime, prohibit its use of the missile program and warplanes, implement the Security Council resolutions on the ban on export of weapons by the regime. And fifth, recognize the Iranian people's resistance and struggle for regime change and remove all obstacles in its path. I also call on the United States and the United Kingdom to undertake their responsibility under international law to ensure the security, freedom, and fundamental rights of the residents of Liberty and Ashraf. Camp Liberty has been turned into a de facto detention center with hard labor. This is the result of Western governments' appeasement of the mullahs and their Iraqi proxies. This is the result of the UN irresponsibility. It's expected that the Secretary General ends this situation. We ask him to use his authority to declare Camp Liberty a refugee camp and prevent the Iraqi government from plundering the properties of the residents in Ashraf. The residents must be able to sell their movable and immovable assets freely. And in the end, I wish you success, and once again, I thank you all very much.